AITA if I buy a house on my own without including my fiancé? I, 32M, have been dating my fiancé, 29F, for 2 years and we got engaged 7 months ago. We plan to get married in the summer of 2025. I love my fiancé and she is perfect for me. We have not yet combined our finances but plan to do so as soon as we get married. I make significantly more than she does, but she is a surgical resident and will start earning a similar salary to mine in about 2 years. We live together and split expenses, with me paying 90% based on our respective incomes. Recently, my stock portfolio has been performing well, and I decided to sell part of it, making decent profits. I am hesitant to reinvest it in stocks, and we decided to buy a house since we plan to get married soon and start a family. My fiancé was also very excited as we would need a nicer house than our current rented apartment. We talked about it, and I offered to buy the house with the cash I have, without taking out a mortgage. I feel this would be a good financial decision given the current high interest rates, and we could always take out a home equity loan in the future. Everything was fine until I told my fiancée that I would buy the house, and she wouldn't need to contribute anything since she's still paying off her student loans. Naturally, I would be on the title and have sole ownership. My fiancée is not okay with this. She says that since we will be married, our marital home should have both of us on the title. A friend told her that I might be protecting my assets by purchasing the home before marriage, thus making it a premarital asset. This has bothered her, and she brought it up to me. That wasn't my intention, and I genuinely want our marriage to be successful. I told her that I don't need to protect anything since we will both be surgeons and will be earning about the same in a few years. However, I feel it's unfair to put her name on the title since I would be paying for the house, and it's risky to put her name on it even before we get married. I told her we could revisit this topic after we get married. As we have already started looking for houses, we need to make a decision quickly. I understand her point that she wants to be included in the ownership of the house where she would live and where we will grow as a family. However, we are planning to spend over $1 million, and it feels wrong to give away half of my savings a year before we get married. I need advice on what others have done in this situation and how to handle this delicate matter without hurting my fiancé's feelings. Update. I wrote a post on a different subreddit about buying a house in the near future, but my fiancée is not happy that I will be the sole owner on the title. She feels she should be co-owner of her family home, but I plan to pay in cash and don't want to mix our finances until we are officially married next summer. My post was removed from the AITA forum, but I wanted to update because many of you gave me helpful advice. Thank you to everyone who helped me understand why she would feel more secure if her name were on the title of her marital home, and what issues could arise in the future. I realized I wasn't considering the situation from her perspective, and wish I had been more empathetic. I still didn't want to mix our finances until we are married in a year, so I had to think of a middle ground. We had a long conversation about the issue this weekend. I realized I hadn't communicated clearly enough why it's important for us to invest that money in real estate. We sat down, and I apologized for not communicating more effectively sooner. I told her it wasn't fair for me to buy our family home on my own and that it should be a joint decision, and we should own it jointly. I tried to explain to her why it's more advantageous for us to buy real estate now, when interest rates are high, and we could pay in cash. She was very receptive to everything. She explained why she wouldn't feel a sense of ownership if she wasn't on the title of the house. She realizes that I've been the primary earner in our relationship so far, but she'll soon graduate and become a surgeon, and we'll be able to afford a much bigger house in a few years. I proposed that we wait to buy our forever family home until we're married and she starts her job. That would help us consider both of our commutes when purchasing the house. However, we should buy an apartment or condo near the city, where we both work, as an investment with the cash on hand. I would still want to be the sole owner on the title, and we could amend the title once we get married. We could stay in this property in the meantime to save on our ever-increasing rent. We could then either sell this property when we purchase our forever home, or use it to generate rental income. Fortunately, she agreed and was happy that I took her feelings into account. I felt it was a win-win, as this was my original plan, and I just wasn't explaining it well. So, we will keep looking for a good investment property, and she's happy because she knows she'll be included when buying our forever home. Thanks again to everyone for helping me with this issue. All I had to do was call it an investment property and communicate better, and she understood my perspective. Top comments. Comment 1. NH, no assholes here, because I can see both sides. But maybe you two aren't ready for marriage if you can't resolve this. I told my husband outright that I wasn't going to marry him until we bought our first house together, which we did. I will never live in a house that is supposed to be my house if my name isn't on the title. I definitely wouldn't marry someone who didn't want to co-own a house with me. Sit down and both of you write out what you envision for your marriage in 5, 10, 15 years. Marriage is supposed to be forever, so it's important to think these things through before taking the step. Comment 2. YTA, you're the asshole, because you're being dishonest with her, yourself, and us. You say it's not your intention to protect your assets by buying the house before marriage, making it a premarital asset, but then you admit you don't want to put her name on the title because it's risky. So, what's the truth? Are you trying to protect yourself or not? You need to be honest with yourself and your fiancé. Offering to revisit this later sounds, to us and to her, like a way to give her hope that you'll change your mind later with the full intention of doing nothing about it. Just admit that her friend was right. You are protecting your assets because you don't fully trust your future wife. As you might suspect, this could seriously damage your relationship, and it already seems to be doing so. Comment 3.
AITA.
You're lying to your fiancé. You say it's not your intention to buy the house solely in your name to protect it as your own asset, but then you admit here that you don't want to put her name on the deed because it's risky. So, which is it? Are you trying to protect yourself or not? Be honest with yourself and your fiancé.